the immigrants that come here, why basically they don't adapt to our culture. So you're driving down the road and you just see a bunch of immigrants kids just run across the road, even though there's like a zebra crossing like 5 meters away from them.
Some cultural practices don't mix well with British values of respect and equality. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. Oh, we have some contemplation, we have some movement, okay. So we have one person on strongly agree, 2 people on agree, 1 person on neutral, but moving to slightly agree. Some cultural practices don't mix well with British values of respect and equality. Oh, he's moving again. You know, somehow I had a feeling, reading it now, I have a feeling that if our contestants were all white, everyone would instantly be like too afraid to say anything. But we're gonna hear what everyone has to say here. Okay, we'll start over here. Why did you agree some cultural practices don't mix well with British values of respect and equality?
Because some, like, cultural practices, like, because I thought, like, some cultures, for example, some cultures, like, they have, like, arranged marriages. So, like, if they can marry off, like, a 15-year-old, and, like, in the UK, that's not really legal.
No.
But, like, culture-wise, it's required. So it's kind of like, if you live in, like, the UK and you're doing that, it's kind of a grey area.
So what do you mean when you said required? I think you lost me there.
Required.
You said, yeah, it's required.
Oh, you're in, like, I don't know, like, you're in, like, a strict culture, right? So you have to do it. So you have to get, like,
a community that's based in the UK, but they have their own sort of community, like Jewish people in Golders Green, or I think there's a lot of Asian people around Finchley. Is that, you mean?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So if, like, your community, like, expects it, so it's kind of like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same question. Why do you strongly agree? Is it the same as hers, but you feel more strongly, or is it a different reason?
Probably a different reason.
Yeah.
Any culture that goes against freedom or puts people in harm is what I call an anti-culture.
Okay.
Because that's not bringing in anything new or any, like, let's say people come migrating here and adding to the country, but if you're coming to this country and then, you know, hurting people, that's not good, obviously. So that's something what I call, that's not what culture we want. We want positive, not the negatives, if you kind of understand what I'm saying.
I think so. Some cultures, some cultural practices can be more harmful than helpful.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that you think we don't want in the UK.
Yeah. Or maybe be educated of why that's bad.
Okay.
At least that's the minimum, yeah.
Can you be spicy and name one?
Honor killing.
Okay, yeah.
And I think, what is it called? Mutilation? Or
Genital,
like
female genital mutilation.
Yeah, that's terrible, yeah. That's the few I can name.
Okay.
That shouldn't happen.
Sure, thank you. And then you agreed with this, not as strongly, but what was your reason for agreeing?
Humans are very different. And so if we try to accommodate for everyone's needs and cultures, it's going to be chaotic. Example, in Afghanistan, do you want some of those cultural practices happening here, where women are required to cover themselves up? They can't go into education. They must have a man accompanying them everywhere they go, and they're forced to be like housewives for like until they die.
Are there any cultural practices, just sticking on that example, if we're talking about in Afghanistan and the culture there, are there any cultural practices that you think would mix well, that would actually enrich or add to go off what he was saying, that would add to our own if we did import them?
Well, I would say the religious faith, like they're really like, you know, compassion, they're strong, like they don't what's called, basically the men, like they basically work, they don't I guess waste time, they don't dilly-dally, they don't live off unemployment like benefits.
Like a lot of people here.
A lot of people here live off benefits, which I was surprised.
Okay, cool. Now, have I understood correctly, sir? You started on strongly and you've moved down to agree. Is that right? Okay. Why did you agree with this prompt? Some cultural practices don't mix well with our British values of respect and equality.
Because like it's been said generally. I think most of what's been said was in my head has been said, but it's so you sometimes come to a place and you might have practices from where you're coming from, and I do think it is. I mean, whilst you are trying to stick with what you know or stick with what you've grown up with, I do think having a bit of allowance or respect, because you do have to remember that, you know, you're not where you're coming from at the moment, if that makes sense. Yes, say you were born in A, you've moved to point B.
Right.
Point B might not be in the same country. So, yes, you want to keep hold of your cultural values, but I also feel it's good to have allowance to also allow you relate with others, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because sometimes what happens is if you go with a very blind mindset and sort of block out every other thing in the place you are, you're not really, I don't want to use the word you're not really going to live, but you might live, but it depends on the sort of person you are. The
Sure.
truth is, I don't think anybody ideally is an island.
No.
And you do need to interact with people
Around you.
So at some point, you would need to have conversations. And I think having some sort of allowance or some sort of grace for the other person is what makes us human, if that makes sense, to an extent.
Is there such a thing, just pressing down on it then, do you think there is such a thing as too much grace, too much affordance when it comes to looking at other people's cultural practices then?
Yeah, sometimes you can say it's too much grace, because the thing is, you've got to do a sort of cash and balancing, if that makes sense.
Right.
More like
Yeah.
in terms of, okay, how much am I willing to tolerate
Yes.
in order to relate with others, or in order to, you know, have a conversation? Because you could choose. It's okay to say, you know, I don't agree with this person's values or the way they live their life, and I'm not going to chat to them anymore.
Okay.
It doesn't mean I hate them. I just do not agree with your way of seeing the world, if that makes sense.
Okay. A personal question for all of you then. What's one cultural practice that you would not tolerate in, let's say, a friend or an acquaintance? Meaning, like you're saying, I wouldn't be able to associate with this person. I can't tell them not to do that, obviously, but I wouldn't tolerate it. I would go my own path. What would that one cultural practice be for each of you?
I don't know if I'll call it a cultural practice, but people might say a clubbing culture.
Okay.
I don't really see the point of it. It's just loud music, drinks, an opportunity for people to show off.
Yeah.
People might look at it as narrow-minded. People might say it could be an opportunity to network. I do get that, but I don't see no networking going on.
No.
So
Not when you're
don't get
like
me-
10 shots down and you can barely talk.
So don't get me wrong. Sometimes business deals are made in clubs.
Okay.
There is the odd one. I'm not saying 100% of it, but it's not something I would do.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't go out to say I want to go for a drink. And also, not just club culture, but another thing I've noticed, it's not controversial, but I did notice when I came here, it's sort of go out for drinks after work is a thing. I wasn't accustomed to that.
No.
I still find it difficult to do. I can't say I've done it. I've done it midday work, not for drinks, but like do a get together. But go out for drinks is a big thing apparently. But it's not something, because I wouldn't drink what you're drinking.
Right.
And then you might feel, because I'd have a soft drink or water, but not really.
There's a certain expectation or a pressure there, perhaps.
Yeah, which generally I don't think I would rather not go. If that makes sense. Like if it makes me uncomfortable, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, makes sense. Same question though. One cultural practice that you would have trouble tolerating in others.
Well, obviously I agree with him, but I'll just repeat his points, but I'll say it's a different thing. Having like no civic sense, basically. Well, I don't want to be, rude or,
A nuisance?
No, I don't want to be rude about it, but like, how in India, basically, India does no civic sense with majority of people. People just don't care for others. They throw trash in the sidewalks. They don't care for an environment.
Do you see any of that here though as well in London?
I see.
Or to the same degree?
Not to the same degree, but I see a lot of it with like the immigrants that come here. Where basically they don't adapt to our culture, so basically like you're driving down the road and you just see a bunch of immigrant kids just run across the road, even though there's like a zebra crossing like 5 meters away from them.
Okay. Civic sense then, a sense of civic duty and what do they call that? A social contract that everyone has. Is that right? Did I summarize it?
Like modern decency, I guess.
Yeah, modern decency, basically just caring for the environment, for others, and just not being like just a nuisance.
A public nuisance.
A public nuisance.
Okay. I'll tell you one thing that really annoys me is on public transport when people are having really loud conversations on their phone, or they're playing music really loud, or vaping on public transport.
You can get fined for that now. Like
Yeah?
playing music really loud, you can get fined for.
Can you?
Like yeah.
I didn't know that.
You can, if you play like music really loud on like either the bus or just outside, you can get fined like £1,000.
What area is this? I need to move there.
Like here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Same question then. One cultural practice you think that you wouldn't be able to, you would struggle to tolerate?
I don't know if this is a practice, but like I think this more happens in like rich families and like not poor families, like rich families and average like working families, like promising your child to marry like the other child. So like if like the average like family like promises like their daughter to the rich family's son, then it's like, so your whole life you're being bred and groomed to like marry this person because they have money. And it's like it's not only girls, it happens to guys as well, but like just in general, it's just
How frequently do you think that still happens in London, say, today?
I don't think it happens as much as before, but I think it still happens. Like, not necessarily, probably not like rich, poor families, but I think it still happens.
Okay.
But
You want to add to that before we go over to our final?
This is almost common. So it's obviously not like a frequent thing, but it's like I hear about it and I see around it because my dad, he does business, deals with like a lot of powerful people, and I just hear chatter sometimes like, oh, basically you know how royal families they like from like literally birth they assign other royal families to marry with.
Diplomatic marriages.
Diplomatic marriages. That this happens a lot with business managers.
Really?
Example, Samsung. Samsung, the company in like Korea, they do this a lot.
Wow.
I was almost, but they obviously asked me. I declined. I was like, I'm not, because
You declined a wedding proposal? A marriage proposal?
I declined the arrival of a wedding proposal.
Oh, okay.
Because, money would have been amazing, but the person was a bit too...
a public nuisance?
Not a public nuisance. It felt like they didn't have the... they didn't feel like they earned the money. They were just...
Okay.
Basically someone who just was snobby rich.
A princeling.
just spoiled.
Spoiled.
Yeah,
Basically.
spoiled princess.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I didn't know that. Same question though. Last one. Okay. What's one cultural practice you think you would struggle to tolerate?
Honestly, is any cultural practice that works on basically, because all cultures would disagree or agree, right?
Right.
And if they disagree with something, if they want to push that agenda towards you in a very obstructive or abruptive way, then I wouldn't like that. No one would like that.
What if it's not like a concerted effort? It's just general negligence? Because I saw you were nodding along when he mentioned in Indian culture there's less of a common, social contract between people. I saw you were nodding along with that. Is it the same thing?
Well, I was mostly thinking about it being obstructive, not in a way where you can speak about it openly or have a conversation about it.
Okay.
If it's just straight, you're right, or no, I'm right, you're wrong, and then they want to fight you about it or put hate towards you, don't want to regard your opinion.
Okay.
Then that's not a good culture, or that's just not good in general, to be honest.
Okay. Is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't?
No, I think you're doing a good job.
Yeah. Well, thank you, but I meant is there anything else you want to say even?
Oh, everything else I want to say.
Yeah. Is there something I should have asked that I didn't, or?
No.
Is there something I should have asked you that I didn't?
Not really.
Is there something I should have asked either of you that I didn't?
Nah.
No.
Probably stuff that your friends that do that are a bit annoying, like they're not being friendly towards the waiter, or not cleaning themselves up after a restaurant. They just leave their pile of like plates just exactly how they left it.
I think that comes back to what you were talking about earlier about common decency. Yeah. Okay. All right then. Thank you. I think we're done. Very good. Give yourselves a little. Yeah. Not bad.
Are there any questions we could have asked that we didn't? How do you align on this issue? Drop a line in the comments. Let us know. Be sure to subscribe for more and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future episodes. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.